Hello everyone, my name is Victoria Quiñones and I will be reading about my subjective opinion on euthanasia from my notes. Honestly, I think euthanasia can be ethical, but only under very specific circumstances. If someone is terminally ill, in constant pain, with absolutely no hope for recovery, and they've been cleared, informed choice to end their suffering, I believe that choice should be respected. It's not about giving up on life, it's about choosing how you want to leave it with dignity. What makes it ethical is the intent. If the goal is to end suffering, not just end life, then I see it as an act of mercy. And consent matters. Like, really matters, as we can tell with the whole Dr. Kevorkian thing. If the person can't speak for themselves and there's no advance directive, obviously it's going to get a lot messier. But when someone is lucid, aware, and begging not to suffer anymore, I don't think it's kind of ethical to force them to stay alive just because society isn't ready to face death, honestly. As for difference between passive and active euthanasia, yes, there's a difference legally and emotionally, but ethically, not really. In passive euthanasia, you're just letting someone die naturally by removing life support. In active, you're actually doing something to help them die. But in both cases, the results is the same and the intent is the same: to end prolonged unbearable suffering. So pretending one is morally superior to the other feels like a loophole people use to avoid discomfort. Do I believe someone has the right to end their life? Yes. If it's due to extreme, untreatable, irreversible suffering, especially if they're already dying, yes. But I don't believe suicide is the answer in any situations like depression or trauma where there's still hope for healing, of course. Context is everything. Pain that's physical, constant, and terminal is not the same as pain that's emotional and possibly temporary. The lines are thin, but they exist. Now let's talk about Dr. Kevorkian. Did he break the law? Yes. But was he a monster? No. I don't think he was I don't think he was a monster. I actually think he was ahead of his time, to be completely honest. He wasn't out here secretly harming people. He was on camera, open about what he was doing and advocating for people's rights to die on their own terms. The problem is he made people uncomfortable. The truth that makes people uncomfortable sometimes, you know? He forced society to confront the fact that sometimes modern medicine just drags out suffering. Did he deserve prison? I mean, on a legal standpoint, like, maybe, yeah. But morally, I don't really think so. He wasn't malicious, he was principled. Was he extreme? Yes, he was, definitely. But he was also doing what no one else had the guts to do. He gave people a choice when the system wouldn't. As for Terry Schiavo, I think it's Schiavo. That case was pretty heartbreaking, to say the least. She was in a vegetative state for years. There was no recovery. Her husband said she wouldn't have wanted to live like that, and her parents said the opposite. The whole thing became a legal war because she didn't have a written living will, which sucks because now you're putting people in this position to, well, heartbreaking to say the least, of course. That right there is the tragedy, is that she didn't have a living will, so nobody really knew exactly what she would have wanted or how she would have wanted to die. I do think the decision to remove life support was the right one if her husband was telling the truth about her wishes. It wasn't some cruel execution. Of course he loved her and that's her husband, so I'm sure they've had truthful, honest talks about how they want to. It's your partner. You should be able to know, in my opinion. It was a slow, painful reality for letting someone go when their body is alive, but their mind is completely gone. So it's just the whole paradoxical effect of death and it's just, and to having to be put in a situation where you choose, it's hard on everybody, you know? In short, euthanasia is one of those things that isn't black and white. It's like I've been saying this whole semester, everything is nuanced. It's full of grays, and it forces us to wrestle with uncomfortable truths about suffering, dignity, and control. But I do believe people have the right to die on their own terms, as long as those terms are informed, voluntary, and rooted in real, irreversible suffering. Thank you.